This book is written to show how we know that there is a universal intelligence, how that intelligence or being becomes manifest, or the passing of spirit into form. The method by which we can control the form it shall take for us as individuals. The way in which we can harness cosmic forces, and above all, it is written to make plain the personal relation of our own self with the greater self, whose life we share. The highest purpose of this science of thinking is to develop a conscious feeling of our oneness with spirit. By spirit we mean the absolute of life, love and wisdom. You hast made us for thyself, and our hearts are restless till they rest in thee. This, therefore, is the book of love and explains fully the nature of the feeling life. Without detracting from the essential teaching of the new science, that man is endowed with perfect freedom and can make his life what he will by his conscious choices, I have shown here how we may still keep the delightful fellowship of the personal spirit and the sense of a presence that guides us in all the affairs of life. Fenwicke, Lindsay Holmes, 1920. Let's go. Being as the impersonal life. We live in the midst of God, and yet we do not know it. Mysteries press in upon us on every hand, and yet we fail to understand. A worm goes to sleep and wakes up a butterfly. An egg is warmed for 3 weeks in a drawer, and a chicken breaks forth from its marble cell. A bullet cuts its way through shrinking flesh, and internal agents restore every organ, cell for cell, and nerve for nerve. A nut, an egg, or a grain of sand hides within it the secret of life. To explain one of them is to explain everything, yet how often it is looked upon either as miracle or a fraud, when a man turns the inspired eye of faith to an inner power and is lifted from the very bed of death itself, or in dire financial straits call upon spirit and finds supply, or in peril by sea or land discovers a guardian angel who points out for him a star and a way. How rash we are in these days of mystery, when science has discovered that the more we know, the less we know, to declare that with God anything is possible. And perhaps we are still more rash when we dare to pass critical judgment on the use of any power, whether we call that power spirit or mind or consciousness or truth. No power used to lighten the burdens of life or to inspire the soul to renew a faith and effort can be anything but good. Some day all men shall know this is true, and that the first and greatest of all sayings is this: Hear, the Lord thy God, the Lord is one, and beside me there is none other. Then force, energy, and life shall be found to come from a common source, and whosoever shall lift the burden of another's woe and pain through the use of the forces that is common shall do the will of my Father who is in heaven, all around, within, and with us. What then is the wonder that lies back of a nut, an egg, or a grain of sand, a healing wand, the cure of cancer, the demonstration of success, and the glory of an uplifted faith? We can at least get closer to the causal mystery, even though our investigation shows us more of what we do not know than what we know. And even though abashed by what he discovers, man may still feel that haply he knows somewhat more than he knows. And even in the nut, the egg, and the grain of sand, he may find a common factor which relates them to each other and perhaps to himself. Where in an egg shall we find the secret of the chicken? Not one drop of blood, nor so much as the daintiest shadow of down will we surprise within the shell. And were we to break through the frail door, we should render it but an open tomb, for even as we search its shapeless form, we find that the inside splendor has escaped, carrying its secret with it. Where was that which might have been the tiny cheek? What was it? Where is it? What is it now? And where to have allowed it to grow into a body, and then dissected flesh and bone, we should never have taken unawares the sleeping yet wakeful mystery. Life cannot be dissected. The chemist dissolves the grain of sand and declares that he has solved the problem of the mineral kingdom and discovered its law by calling it chemical affinity. But what is chemical affinity? It is the name of a force. The chemist does not know what the force is, he knows only that it is. He has learned something about it, but like the botanist and the biologist, he hasn't learned it. The discovery of the supreme fact of its nature or law, however, has done much for us in solving the riddle, for it has betrayed intelligent activity. Indeed, something within minerals opens them to the influence of mind, and vibration sent out at the will of the operator can magnetize them. What is that principle within, which is thus acted upon by mind, and which acts with the intelligence of mind? It is something of which again we may say it is, and we know how it is, but we do not know what it is. Yet, because it betrays intelligence, and because intelligence is a characteristic of mind, we may give it to it a new name: life. The greatest of scientists today are telling us that we live in a universe alive with intelligence, and the advanced investigator does not hesitate to declare that all nature is alive. But if we declare that our riddle is answered by the word life, what have we? We have this, that we have reduced the universe to one, and we have found that it is related to us in some way. But what is life? It is a curious thing that we should thus live in a living universe, and yet not be able to tell what life is. It is one of nature's paradoxes. For life we know, and knowing do not know, yet know we whence we come and whither go, for life is all, and plays the master role. It is its own true witness to its fact, elusive, subtle substance of the soul, that ever gives of self and yet remains intact. All that we can say is that life is, and the absence of it is what we men call death. But we can go on studying how it acts, and the law by which it is governed, or by which it governs, in order that, by our knowledge, we may control our body and affairs.